manual, and like every night, I say we have a pretty interesting program, and I guarantee you, and yes, you will. Not only is it interesting, but it's a wonderful program that we're gonna have tonight because I have a, how should I put it, a very excited guest here with me tonight. I'm happy that the individual is here, and we're gonna be talking about a number of issues concerning environment, concerning our beaches, concerning St. Martin. Yes, I'm talking none other environmentalist. I don't know if you want to be called by that name, but I have become aware of the environment, of our beaches, of St. Martin, of our trees, of the trash, because of this individual. Who am I talking about? Jadira Veen. So I'm happy that she's here. Don't know if I pronounce her name correct. Call a friend, call someone, and tell them log on now to www.sxmtalk.com because I have on the program with me Jadira Veen. Jadira, good night, and thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Christopher, and good night to your esteemed viewers tonight.
I'm so happy that you're here, and Jadira. I know my studio manager had to do some pulling and convincing and really trying to get you on here on the program. So it's my pleasure having you on the program. And of course, like I said, because of you, now I am more aware of the environment. I'm actually, let me use it, everyone says a tree hugger. You know, I'm always up some tree hugging, some tree, tugging and pulling some plant or something like that. And it's mainly because of you and Ruben Thompson, Pride Foundation. I remember when I was in Holland and the whole thing started
Yeah.
on the internet, on the Daily Herald message board, and
Yes, that's right.
the school with a wall, and you know, so many names. And
Yeah.
it was a good while back. So, Yadira, I'm happy that you're here.
Thank you, and I don't mind being referred to as an environmentalist. I think that that term has changed over the past 20 years, whereas, back in the 70s and 80s, it was considered maybe something of a radical thing to be. But, over the years, I think the environment has gotten more respect worldwide. I mean, you're seeing more people studying environmental science, marine studies. They're studying trash, the travels of trash in the ocean, marine wildlife. So, you know, the environment and environmental awareness has come a long way globally, not only locally, but globally as well. So,
And you mentioned when it comes to trash and the environment and our coastline, and that's why you're here.
yes.
Because I would hear you on PG82, I would hear you on Pearl, where you had,
Yes.
or still have your own program.
No, actually, I stopped it early this year.
Oh,
Christopher, my life got, as a person, my own,
imagine.
got so hectic that I had taken on so much work in the past years. Pride Foundation
Yeah.
is in existence for 12 years now.
Right.
And in 12 years, I have headed the foundation for 11 years of it. And I took on so much work, and it takes a lot of effort. It takes away time from my family, from my husband, from my home, that people don't realize that I'm a volunteer, just like the rest of my board. And I don't get paid for this, but it takes up a lot of time. All these beach cleanups, all these community cleanups, all the activism, the protests we had in the past, all of this is not just a one-day thing. It takes preparation to pull together all these activities. So early this year, I came to the conclusion that I could not do Nature Watch anymore for a while.
Okay.
And we'll see when my time frees up again, and maybe I will start again. But for now, it's a little. I need that downtime for myself.
Well, I know for sure that you're all over Facebook when it comes to the cleanup, the coastal cleanup, and our beaches and moving back and forth. And then I remember I saw you with your pants roll up and mud all over when you guys
Yeah.
was planting. What was it?
Mangroves.
Mangroves. I was like, you ain't getting me there. I don't want no crab and this and that nibbling and biting and stuff.
I thought you said you're hugging trees.
Not in the mud, not in the I don't know, but I watched it. I said, there she goes, and there's everybody hopping and scupping, and I see you in there digging
Yeah.
into the soil. How does that go? How is that?
Um, Get out there in nature and feel nature. We've lost a lot of that, Christopher. When you see that as kids growing up here in St. Martin, I'm sure you and Reggie and all of us of our generation, you used to be out there in Saunders and South Reward and everywhere in the districts you're playing outside. And if you really look at it, our kids have lost a lot of that. Um, Children now are living in apartments. Many people don't have a home with a yard anymore. So children end up on the streets out there, but they don't. A lot of our trees have been cut down. A lot of our nature has been cut down to make room for development, whether it's housing districts, whether it's hotels, condos for foreigners, you name it. So a lot of what Pride does is trying to get the kids in tune with back into nature again. Let them experience the ocean. Let them experience the trees and planting trees in the ponds and wildlife. You'll be surprised how many kids love to see a spider or a iguana or a mongoose when it passes fast.
Still exists.
Yeah, the mongoose are still there. And for instance, for World Ocean Day in June, the activity that we had, Pride Foundation hosted sixth graders from Sister Borgia School. We took the whole sixth grade with Teacher Holiday. We took them out to experience snorkeling. Now imagine many of these kids at that age anywhere between 11 and 13, a lot of them don't get to go to the beach. Some of them couldn't swim. So what we did is we partnered at the time with snorkel safaris that have the tiki hut right off of DV. And that tiki hut is used by their company to teach tourists very fast how to dive. It has an open area in the tiki hut where they can go down in steps, and they teach them how to use the tanks and all of that. So that day they donated half the day to us to take the kids there so the kids can put on snorkel gear and learn to snorkel. Now, the ones who couldn't swim, we outfitted them with the life vest and everything, and so they can enjoy the water as well, the ocean as well, and they got to see all the colorful fish. Let me tell you, the kids did not want to go back to school because it was until 12 o'clock and they had to get back to their class. They did not want to go back. It was so exciting. They enjoyed it so much, and you had to hear them, but we don't want to go. We like it here, so this is what we try to do besides our cleanups, besides the activism we do. You always hear our voice with some issue or the other. We try to get kids back to nature so that they understand St. Martin's heritage and St. Martin's nature.
Jadira, I'm listening to what you're saying, and you said the toll and the pressure and all the work that comes with a volunteer that you have been doing for the past 12 years. When you sit down and you recollect and you look back, right, would you say that it has all been worth it, or you say, well, there's 12 years down the drain?
No, it's very rewarding. It's very, very rewarding at times. I find it extremely rewarding. There are times that I sigh, just like how you just sighed, because the area what I don't like from my work is that we still have some people on this island with an old-fashioned mentality, or completely, that have not matured. Let me put it that way. And they see our activism as a threat, or they see our activism as a playing personality politics. But when we bring up an issue, it is about the issue. It is not about, I don't like Christopher, or I don't like this minister or that parliamentarian. It's about the issue. But there seems to be many people on the island that still cannot comprehend how to discuss the issue and not target the messenger. So if we bring across something, it's not that we, we are against a particular politician. It's about that issue that we are trying to tell the elected leaders, by the way, who represents us, tackle this, do this, do this. But it seems that there's people on the island that still do not grasp that as yet.
How serious, Jadira, would you say is the environmental issue on St. Martin? And it's across the board, whether it's the beaches, whether it's our sand, whether it's the air, whether it's the dump, whether it's the water, whether it's pollution. How serious is our environmental condition on this island?
I think it's top priority. You miss one thing, health.
Oh, there you go.
Yes. And I think environment has to be coupled with health. In fact, I'm still not happy that our environment department is on the VROMI and on the permits and all of that. I think it should be attached to the health department, because that's on the level it should be. Having our VROMI and our environmental department and the building and all of that on the one department, you get a conflict of interest.
Right.
You see it many, many times where a hotel is being built and people put in for a permit to build a hotel in a specific way. And for instance, they have to destroy mangroves, or they have to destroy some part of the beach, or they have to destroy something where our people are affected, our health is affected, our natural environment is affected. And that's where a different department should come in. Not really those departments, because that's a conflict of interest. Exactly. It should be a different department that should also be giving advice. And we don't have that. It's the same minister over environment and the same minister who's over building permits. That's a conflict of interest.
So if we got to put it on a scale from 1 to 10, and 1 being bad and 10 being good in terms of our environment, right? In terms of our environment, how would you say? Would you say that our air is good, our water is good, our health is good, or it's not good, or it's in the middle? Our environment needs more attention. People needs to be more aware. On a scale from 1 to 10, how would it be? Because I want to know.
I think our politicians have to start playing a bigger role where environment is concerned. For instance, let's take the issue with the what we call the landfill. Yeah. They have a sign calling it a sanitary landfill. It's not sanitary at all. There's nothing sanitary about it. That, to me, should take first priority right away. There is no reason to go put so much money into building a causeway when that money could have been used to find a solution, whether it's through recycling or through a modern day type incinerator or waste to energy facility. There must be emphasis more on where our waste is going. What are we doing with our waste? And it seems that we are here in the 21st century, and the landfill is exactly the same way it was from when we started, except that it has grown into a mountain. Christopher, it is so bad that what if I tell you that when I go into the schools and I talk to the kids about the landfill, and I show them pictures of the landfill, they really think it's a mountain that has always been there in the Great Salt Pond.
They don't know that it's
No, they don't know, because when they pass the university, they see green, so they think it's hill. So I have to show them a picture from the original Salt Pond flat, and that's when they are shocked. But many of these kids that I talk to in the schools, we get into a different social problem now. A lot of them were brought in. So I always ask them, who's from St. Martin? Raise your hand. Okay. Are your parents from St. Martin? Raise your hand. Are your grandparents from St. Martin? Raise your hand.
That's 2 or 3 hands.
And indeed. And the ones with the grandparents, they would say, yes, my grandmother or grandfather told me about the pond, or told me that they used to pick salt, or that, they have stories to tell. But that's why we have to go with pictures now to school, because these kids that we have in school, many of them are imported. And while we're trying to make them St. Martiners, they're here now, right? They're in our schools. Yeah. We're going to have to find a broad solution how to really make them St. Martiners. They have to know more about our heritage. They have to know more about our nature and environment. They have to know more about the real issues. Because you're now in your 40s, these kids in a few years are going to be voting. Yeah. And whether we like it or not, whether they're imported or not, we have made them St. Martiners. Yeah. Yeah. So you see what I'm saying? We can't live in a bubble anymore with our past thinking. We really have to look ahead and say, okay, this is what our politicians did. Now we have to deal with it. We have these people, we have these kids. Some of them are born here from foreign parents. Some of them are imported recently, but the result is they're in our schools. Now it's our job to make them St. Martiners.
You surprised me a couple of, and I'm actually 26.
Oh, give you 4 more years.
Yeah, yeah. You surprised me a couple of weeks ago when you sent me a clipping from, what's his name? He has an archives from Profile of the Winning Island.
Dwight Baran.
Dwight Baran, you know,
Yes.
and this was I sat down, I watched the whole clipping, the whole video, and it was one where we had the Honorable Dr. Claude Watty talking back then in 1982, and we played it here about
Yes.
an incinerator and that same land sanitary dump
Yes.
fill that you're talking about. And here we are 30 years on, Jadira, and
I know.
there is it have, I mean he spoke about a plan, a budget that they sent in requested monies for an incinerator up to the tune of 9 million guilders, I believe it is. But here we are 30 years later, and
Yeah.
it is worse.
Yeah.
You
In
know?
fact, if you really followed politics for years, and when the different parties were in, every group, every political group party talked about it but never did anything. I remember back in the early years when I started paying attention to politics, I remember Michel Deher talking about when he was a commissioner. Remember when Michel
Yeah.
Deher was a commissioner? He was talking about finding a solution to the landfill and trying to bring in a company that would do some type of an incinerator. So, here we are, still same way. Why they have not done it? That is the big question.
You know, it is sort of a cliche, or should I say, wow, when I say I don't want to get political on my program here, but I always seem to tie in a little piece. And you mentioned earlier with the kind of money that they're spending on to build the causeway or the bridge or the link or whichever one you want to twist it and turn it. And one of the reasons, and one of the examples they are giving as to why we need it is simply because the existing bridge in Simpson Bay has lived out its term. It's old. It's brittle. They need something new. That was one of the examples or the reasons that they gave out that they are still giving. And I always question it, and I said because just the other day, millions of guilders were spent to make it better or improve its case. But if that have lived out its term in terms of it being old, what about a dump? Because studies have proven over and over and have said that the filling capacity of the dump has reached its limit. There's not I mean, we see the fires that
Mhm.
erupts, the methane gas. I
Yes.
mean, how do you really think a solution can be found for the dump? Do you think it's deliberately being that way?
If a solution can be found for the dump, of course it can. And I'm going to take you back a little bit. Maybe you don't remember, you were in the Netherlands, but a gentleman that used to work at Vrom back in the day, he was a personal friend of mine. He is the one that was tasked with finding a solution for the landfill, and he actually did an inventory of the dump. And at the time, now I can't give you the exact date because it slips my mind, but it could be 2003 or 2004. The Daily Herald carried an extensive piece on this gentleman and his inventory of the landfill, and where he had a pie chart, and he did at the time what type of trash is coming into the landfill. So he stayed there for a week and he made an inventory of what comes in and how much, etc. This was one of the first studies. He did it on the Dutch side, and he did it also with his counterpart on the French side. Yeah. At the time, he said the dump had 5 more years before it's filled.
And
So right now we are past. It has expired. But no politician is going to say that because that's not, politically correct to say.
Why not?
They're going to
why is
have
that
to
not
admit
politically
then
correct?
their mistakes. But not only the sitting government, but also the opposition, because the opposition was also there. So everybody's at fault. For generations of politics, they're all at fault. So if there's a solution, of course there's a solution. It all takes, it takes political will to do something about that dump and to bring some modern solution to it.
But why? And I don't want to drag you into this discussion like this, Jadira, but why would you think or feel or believe that politically no one wants to tackle this issue or do anything about it? I mean, we see so many, we see millions of dollars, millions of guilders going into other stuff. But this issue, well, listen, I could smell the smoke from time I hit the bridge. And someone like me with asthma, it started to affect me one time.
Let me tell you something. When was it? Saturday morning, the Princess Juliana International Airport had a walk for one of their social clubs. I'm not sure which one. And my sister bought me a ticket, so the both of us went on a power walk. You know, it was seaport to airport. So we had to walk from the harbor to the airport 5:30 in the morning. Yeah. So I still get up and do these things.
You made the whole walk?
Part of it. I stopped in between because I had something, but I joined back again in Cold Bay and I did the whole stretch to the airport. But my sister did the whole thing. But what I wanted to say is when we were walking on the Pondville, and it was, let me see, we left at 5 o'clock, so it had to be around 5:30. There was a stench on the Pondville of burnt, I'm sorry to say, it smelled like burnt bodies.
Like carcasses.
Yes, that's exactly what it smelled like.
Thing.
5:30 in the morning.
I said the same thing.
I made a remark to my sister. I said, but my gosh, how can people live on this road? You're smelling it 5:30 in the morning. So not even a fresh air you're smelling in that area in the morning. You're smelling exactly that, like carcasses, like bodies. So, you know, I really would like also to hear from the politicians, you know, not what are you going to do, when are you going to do something about it?
But you know, Jadira, sometimes I pick my fights and I say, you know, I'm upset with the environmentalists and all the environmental groups. And then right now, I had my good friend Ruben Thompson come back on the program because we had a little
tat-tat-tat.
Yeah, because of you know, the whole Emilio Wilson estate stuff and you know the statement he made, and he came back to clarify. But Jadira, with the politicians having or wanting or needing this political will, the people themselves, they are the ones ultimately responsible for those politicians that are there, for all of us. I'm throwing myself in and saying, look, listen to me, guys. We had enough of this. We had enough of this. Fix this issue, but do nothing.
But Christopher, you yourself had experience with our own people. I think you tried to do something and nobody backed you up. Our people are complacent. Can I say it any better? Can I say it any better? Our people are complacent. They sit home, they listen to talk shows on the radio, they make a few comments now and then, but they don't go further than that. You know, they're complacent. So how can we get them to move more, to become more aware, to become more active? I don't know. I really don't know at times. I think people are happy in the state that they're in, you know. And another thing too is that some people are just trying to live their life, pay their bills. By the time they get home, they have to deal with their house and their children, and then they've got bills to pay, and then, you know, everything else around them they can be dealing with. So we also have that.
I am one of those individuals, and I know you also has relations on both sides of the island. Okay, I have a grandmother from Rambo, one from Great Bay, a mother from one side, and the dad from the other side. So I have two sets of everything on this island. And when I go to the dump here, I'm like, seriously? And when I go to the dump in Husak, I'm like, whoa. You know, and I'm saying to myself, 37 square miles. On one side, they seem to have got it right. Or they haven't.
Almost right.
Or they seems to on track as to know what they're doing. But over here seems to be oblivious. They're just lost. What is it? Because what is it to pick up a phone? What is it to go and take a look at it? Ask a question. What is it that you guys are doing that this could be done? I don't get it, understand it.
I don't know. And you know what's the worst part is that our dump is in the center of Phillipsburg in the view of everyone. Yes. It's in the view of our tourists. It's in the view of our people working in Phillipsburg, which is our city. While the one on the front side is far away, you cannot see it. You actually have to take quite a drive or a hike over there.
And go behind.
And yes. So, you know, indeed, I don't know why more people are not kicking up more about the state of the landfill. Because what we are doing is old-fashioned. It's an old-fashioned system of just covering trash.
Yeah, That don't
So
work anymore.
no, you don't do that. They don't do that in the
anymore.
United States. And forget about Europe. That's
Oh, that's
so
long gone.
outdated.
Yeah, did that. We don't even recycle. In this day and age, we are still throwing plastic,
Yeah,
aluminum, paper, compost in the same bin. We are
yeah.
still doing it today. And when you tell people, when you when you tell people about this, they're like, what's wrong with you?
You see it in our Canadian tourists that come to the island. Sometimes I'm stopped by Canadian people that I meet here and there, and the Canadian tourists are very concerned when they hear that. They ask me, "Well, where's your place of your trash?" And I told them the landfill in Phillipsburg. They are shocked. They are not used to that. They are used to separating their trash at home, or having recycling bins on the side of the street. And even down to their newspapers, there's special bins that they have in front of apartments in Canada where you put your old newspapers every day or once a week, and it's picked up by someone who does paper, who collects paper. So
Well,
we have to do something about this, because it really, what you know what gets to me is that we have placed so much emphasis and all our energy into building up this
yeah.
island economically. We have a first-class harbor, we have a first-class international airport, yet the rest of the infrastructure is
It's third
lagging
class, yeah.
behind. It's very third world.
Yeah.
So when you look at our sewage facilities, leaves a lot to be desired, you know. When you look at especially the landfill, like what we're talking about now, that is something that is a whole project that is going to take quite some few years that they should invest in. I think the money going into this causeway in the Simpson
That's
Bay
a crime.
Lagoon is a waste of
It's a
money.
crime.
It's a real waste of money.
It's a serious crime, and every time I see it, I'm just like,
Yeah.
my goodness. Anyway, yeah, let us get into this serious issue of the coastal cleanup. What is this all about? What's going on with it?
Okay. Coastal cleanup. Well, let me ask you: is that your phone or my phone? International Coastal Cleanup is every September, and this is a worldwide event, and it's actually hosted, helped to us, coordinators around the world, by Ocean Conservancy. And I am the local coordinator for St. Martin. Now you're going to ask yourself, well, what's International Coastal Cleanup? Many people on the island do know it, especially the kids, the students in school have been participating for years. And what makes it different is that International Coastal Cleanup, the trash is inventorized on a special data card. And why that is, we're going to get into that. It's done because Ocean Conservancy needs to know what we are picking up in each country. So with 130 countries participating, they make a what you call a report every year. And in this report, they put in by country what type of trash was collected around the world. Yes, that the picture on your screen is actually one of the cleanups, international coastal cleanups from a few years ago. And you could see the group of volunteers that came out. We get anywhere for the large, grand international coastal cleanup, we get anywhere between 500 and 600 volunteers. And the volunteers comprise of many groups in society. They come from, let's say, from youth groups like Scouts and Seventh-day Adventist Pathfinders. We even had, companies participating like the FedEx group and the Filipino group, Filipinos that live on the island. And we have a lot of, like I said, businesses that come out together with their staff, with their employees. So International Coastal Cleanup has gotten very large. However, Christopher, this year, we're going to do things a little bit different with International Coastal Cleanup. And I've been talking so much that, I want to show you, though, this is the report for this year. Let me see if I can show it.
You can show it.
From
Trash Free Seas.
yes. Now, what you could do is this year they did not put the trash index in the booklet. So in order to see the trash index, I advise your viewers to go to oceanconservancy.org slash 2012 data. And when you go to this site, you will find all the countries listed and what type of trash they picked up. Now, from this index, trash index, you can see where the problems are. You get to see exactly what's being left behind or what's being washed up. Now, Mullet Bay Beach, for instance, Le Galion Beach, these are beaches where our people go for recreation.
Right.
And they, unfortunately, they tend to leave their trash behind. Now, on a local level, it's up to us to try to do more with awareness with anti-littering. We have to have more campaigns. Maybe we should have a larger campaign getting across to all the various nationalities on the island that it's not cool to leave your trash on the beach. It's not cool to litter your trash on the streets, which happens here quite often.
It's routine. It's like.
Yeah. But you have some beaches on the island where the trash is washed up. And that's something we really can't do much about except pick it up. We have to pick it up. If you don't pick it up, it harms our economy. Tourists don't want to see dirty beaches. It harms our wildlife.
Let me ask you this question. I don't want to interrupt you because I so want you to continue, but you had a shocking, okay, let me don't say you. St. Martin Pride had a shocking photo on Facebook with a turtle trapped in a beach chair.
Yes.
Was that here?
No, it was not here,
okay.
no. But
I'm
that
like,
doesn't mean, hold on.
I know, but I mean,
Yeah.
it was disturbing.
Yeah, but
it was
there's
hurtful.
some things that have to be said. First of all, Kupakoy Beach, when we cleaned it last year and we cleaned it the year before, we tend to find these same beach chairs. They're left behind by those vendors that rent the chairs. What they do is they get old and broken, they throw them in the bush. I'm not going to make excuse for these people. Where do you think these beach chairs are coming from? It's from these same vendors who are renting the chairs to the tourists. So when you look in the bushes along Kupakoy Beach, now I'm talking about the outer end of Kupakoy Beach. So the area across from what is now the Blue Mall.
The Blue Mall.
Okay? You find broken beach furniture there, broken chairs, broken umbrellas, broken all of these things. That's what we picked up the most of last year. Our volunteers, let me put it that way. Now, with all the research going into ocean trash these days, most people now have heard of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
Tell us about that.
I don't have the finer details for you, but let me put it this way. It's a very large area in the Pacific. To make it, to talk about it in simple terms, without giving an accurate size, they like to say it's twice the size of Texas. That's how large it is.
That's
now,
one of the biggest states in America.
yes. Now, the oceans in some area are rotating like washing machines. It's really a gyra or a vortex. They call it the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It sounds sexy. It catches people's imagination. But it's a vortex or gyra.
Of trash.
Of swirling pieces of trash. Now, in the past few years, it has now come out that every ocean has one of these gyras vortex, just smaller than the one in the Pacific. Now, when you ask me if that picture was on St. Martin, no, it wasn't. But what if the chair did come from St. Martin? Remember, once trash gets into the ocean, it's swirling, it's going to end up somewhere. Our thoughts that the ocean is infinite is old-fashioned. The ocean is not infinite. Wherever you throw in the ocean, it's going to come back eventually somewhere. And we saw it what happened with that passing storm.
Yeah.
When all the trash came up on Great Bay. Maybe it's trash from us that was on the bottom of the floor of Great Bay, bottom of the sea floor, but maybe it's trash from somewhere else.
What about this issue with the tsunami that happened in Japan and now
Yes.
California is experiencing all this trash coming
Yes.
to its coast?
Actually, if you look in this report, they're talking very much about the tsunami debris. Ocean Conservancy is giving it a lot of attention. And see, it's called the Japanese tsunami, and it's, You have now scientists that study trash in the oceans, and this tsunami debris that is coming up on the California coast is one of them that they're looking at and that they're going to have to clean up.
Let me answer this question, Jadira, because
Sorry.
I don't have my cup of water.
It's okay.
On the table, Reg. Next time. We see that that the International Coastal Cleanup happens every year, and every year there's a record of how much trash has been collected. Every year we see the volunteers get more and more. Every year we see the collection of trash also get more and more. And then you give some examples of our beaches. And you said that, our beaches such as Mullet Bay and Guana Bay are frequent a lot by the people. And there are some other beaches like in Guana Bay that it seems, but yeah, by collecting more and more trash every year, would it be fair for me to say that, and yeah, there it is.
These are the global, yes, on the screen is the global figures,
But-
indeed.
But every year it seems to grow more and more and more. And even here on St. Martin, it seems to be growing more and more and more. Would it be fair for me to say, right, it's a waste of time because our people are not getting it and more trash they're leaving every year on the beaches? Would it be fair for me to say that?
Actually, we're finding, for instance, with Mullet Bay, let me put it that way. At Mullet Bay, we're finding a little less trash, but then we got to look at what's been happening for the past 2 years. For the past few years, there's a contract I think government gave out to various cleaning, what do you call it, garbage trash collectors. And in the new contracts, it states that they have to keep the roadsides clean of their district, wherever they have that contract. And if there's a beach in their area, in their district, they have to keep the beach clean as well. Now, I'm happy to state that Mullet Bay looks a lot better than it used to, thanks to the contractor that has that contract for that area. They have done a lot of work. They're cleaning it a few times a week. If people are leaving the same amount behind, maybe a little less, but they are leaving things behind. We have to do more of a campaign of in different languages, getting it out there for everyone to understand that everyone, because just Saturday I passed by Mullet Bay around 11 o'clock. The waves were very high. And I saw the people picnicking already. All Spanish-speaking people were under the trees. And I looked already at what they had. Cases and cases of bear presidente, exactly. Exactly. We're going to say it as it is, right, Christopher?
But why should we
Why
hold
should
back?
we be
Look,
silent?
No,
That's
no,
what it
why
is.
should we hold back? This is what we are.
Exactly.
This is what it's about.
That's
That's
about.
what they drink.
And I remember meeting the gentleman who has the beach bar there, and I said to him, make sure those people put it in the bin. He says, girl, I always tell them to, and then when I come back tomorrow, they leave the trash right there. So we have to do more on anti-littering awareness. We can play a role, St. Martin Pride can play a role, but we need some money, we need some funding to do a larger campaign in different languages because it has to get out there. A lot of people, Christopher, we have to come to the agreement that there's people out there don't speak English, they're living here, they don't speak English, they don't listen to English radio, they don't watch English TV. We got to get that message out to these people.
But Jadira, it disturbs me every time I hear this because we can get everything else right in other things that is so unnecessary. Aruba is about twice the size of St. Martin, 70-something square miles, I believe. I stand to be corrected on that. How is it that they could have beach patrol and you would see four-wheelers and two guys are up and down on every beach in Aruba?
I agree.
Okay, every beach in Aruba, you see these guys walk around with their short pants, and they're on these quads and they're up and down on the beach. You drop a bottle,
I agree. I agree
don't
with
get
you
it.
so much. This is actually, we have said it more than once that we need
Creating
beach
jobs.
patrol. It is creating jobs. It is absolutely creating jobs. And you know what? It's creating jobs for young people.
For young people, you drop a bottle on the beach,
Yeah.
you get a fine, you'll never do it again.
It's actually creating good jobs for young people. It's like a beginning to, let's say, a police officer. You could always train these young people,
Yes.
and to start off like that. And if they're really interested and they love that type of job, they can go ahead and upgrade themselves and go do the police course or whatever. So I think it's a great thing, and it not only helps with the littering and pollution at beaches. You know what it helps with, Christopher's? Crime. There's a lot of crime happening at our secluded beaches. That is, nobody talks about it because nobody knows. When last you see a politician out at the beach? You know where they go to the beach? They go Anguilla for August, Monday to a beach. You never see them on St. Martin Beach.
That's true. But I go Great Bay and Bel Air and Little Bay with my girls because Little Bay is calm and smooth most of the time.
But we can't get our politicians to understand our beaches because they don't use our beaches. They don't go to our beaches. So, but I agree with you. We need beach patrol. Christopher, with International Coastal Cleanup, we found once a set of ladies' bags thrown under a tree in Mullet Bay. Robberies. They rob people and they throw the bags away. Once we found at the International Coastal Cleanup a Dutch passport that was still valid with Indian currency in it. So I don't know if it was the same robbery or two different robberies, but they choose what they wanted and they throw out what they couldn't use. So you see, certain beaches are also used for crime. And that's where the patrol comes in. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think it's about time.
I had the privilege to travel to Panama last week,
Mm-hmm.
and they have what you call tourism police.
Mm-hmm.
They specifically deal with tourists
Mm-hmm.
and issues that happen solely around the tourist industry, the hotels, the beaches, the restaurants, the clubs, and that is their job. And I'm saying to myself, we boast about bringing in Brazilian groups to do tunnels. We boast about bringing this group from Breda who are specialized in bridges and stuff. No, but we could laugh about it.
But yet we cannot tackle the illegal vendors on a boardwalk.
Simple. Rushing and holding and pulling the individual to,
Yeah. Besides that, they're illegal. They are, when I said illegal, they do not have a permit for walking up and down the boardwalk to do this. They are occupying, I don't know if you have seen this, they are occupying the public benches that the tourists have to sit on.
And they got their
And
bags
they've got all their wares, their merchandise. Christopher, I have a picture of one woman sitting on the bench with all her merchandise on the boardwalk. The poor little palm tree that was on the sand, she had it, T-shirts and all kind of things hang up in it with hangers. I took the picture of this and I sent it at the time. It was when Minister Theo Heiliger was in office. I sent it to him. I said, when are you going to do something about this? I never got a response. But moving ahead, it's still happening today and probably more so because now there's more than one woman. There's more of these female vendors doing this. They're not just walking up and down anymore. They're occupying parts of the boardwalk.
And oh my God! And these are the things that I talk about. And when Christopher mentioned these things, he's radical. He's against this. He's that. And it's the simplest of things that people are being paid for to do, because we have individuals that are paid to do that job, to go and check, to go and verify.
We do.
And I don't get it, understand, Jadira. I see that you're wearing a sleeveless tonight.
You want to get into the
I so want to pull you out.
you want to get into the
I was on your page.
the radical feminist in me.
Yeah, and I know when you walk in, you saw my whole gym and my whole stuff that I got here. So whenever you're ready to do some shoulder press, you can come and check me out because I do a little training now and again.
Okay.
Why can't you walk into the immigration department?
I don't
like
know.
this?
I'm going to tell you what happened to me, and it turns out that I have more females who have come forward and saying that the same thing has happened to them. And okay, so Friday last, I had to escort my employee, domestic worker, who works in my home a few times a week, to the immigration department because they tend to, they have this attitude of go come back.
Yeah.
We all know it. So I finally had to make this trip. And so when I walked in, the security guard says to me, what are you here for? So
where were you from?
you can imagine,
Okay.
female security guard, not from here, but anyway, she says, what are you here for? So I said, this is my employee. I came to check where is certain papers for her because she's been here before. She says, yes, yes, I remember her. She was here before. So she told my employee, stand in line. But you, she says, you don't have on sleeves. You have to just go outside, go find something to cover yourself. I said, excuse me? I said, no, I'm staying right here. I was really annoyed. And she realized, I'm not moving. So when it was my employee's turn now to get help, the lady at the desk, the security guard went to her and says, the lady's here for this and this, but her employer here, she don't have on sleeves. So I went forward, but the lady at the desk didn't say anything to me. I mean, she kept it, she didn't say anything. She just helped me with what I was there for. But I'm getting to that. So when I left, I thought, but this is a ridiculous something. What is this nonsense about ladies cannot wear sleeves?
I would like to know who made that rule.
But there is no rule. I forgot to tell you something. When she told me, you don't have on sleeves, go out, get something to cover yourself, I said, where is this posted? She says, nowhere. She said, but my supervisor says so. I said, well,
And who's
I'm
the
not
supervisor?
moving. I didn't ask. I said, well, I'm not moving because I don't see anything posted here, and I don't know of any law saying that I cannot enter a government building without sleeves. And, well, so later on I brought it up. I kept this, I didn't bring it out
Why
really in
not?
public. And
These
then
are the- these are the
today,
kind of thing that should be public.
today I saw a beautiful picture of Michelle Obama when she gave her
Oh,
speech
yeah, she
last
was
night.
looking good.
And she was wearing a sleeveless dress with the most powerful looking shoulders. She looked great.
Shoulder press, push-ups. Yeah.
Okay,
I see
Christopher,
that.
you're going to give me some training tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I
Start
thought,
at 4:30.
I thought, look at that. Here is the First Lady of the great big United States giving her speech in a sleeveless dress, and our government is telling us ladies we cannot enter a government building sleeveless? That is ridiculous. By the way, Christopher, women, our gender, the females, the feminist groups, we used to burn our bras in the 60s to protest for our rights. We're talking about women back in the 60s burning their bras, taking off their bras, going braless. We went through that. And today we are talking about bare arms. I think we have the right to bear arms. Not guns, arms.
I agree with that one. The guns. No, but serious, I read it on your thing and I'm saying, but this is ridiculous.
Yes.
What do they mean by that? And you see, and this is how we operate here, Jadira. Everybody invent and create their own law. Invent and
Yes.
create their own rule. And because they're in a position, right, everybody else must just go along. But they can't show you where it's written. They can't show you a law, or ordinance.
Yes.
Nothing. But oh yeah, my supervisor said so. The supervisor wake up one day and this is what you're supposed to do. Okay, and it disturbs me with how we operate here on this island. I know I brought you here to talk about the international coastal cleanup and stuff like that. We have about a couple of minutes left.
But we
in
could
the
talk about the
program.
female issues. I'm a female.
Yes, I
you
want
know,
you
and
back,
and
Jadira.
I think women
Because that is discriminatory. yeah.
exactly. I think women have to speak out about this. I go to church sleeveless when I have to go to church. I go to funerals sleeveless. So why is
But
my
I-
government telling me I cannot enter a government building sleeveless?
I'm sure that I have seen the Prime Minister on many occasions sleeveless and bear you well. She looks great.
Of course.
So whoever that individual or supervisor is, you need to show me that as a rule, because I'm going to talk about that issue, because that is discriminatory, and it's a serious issue when you start to dictate,
Mhm.
all right, the dress code. Now I can understand you having a dress code, right? But
Let's put it this way. I can understand shorts and slippers are for the beach.
Mhm.
Sure, I can understand that. You know, you don't want shorts and slippers. That's more for the beach. But when you're telling women now in the 21st century they cannot show their shoulders, what is so offensive about our shoulders? Why? What is that?
I, I, who, I don't think that's a road that whoever they are should go down. It's not going to turn out well. They should just stop that stupidness because that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
stupidness, complete stupidness. Yadira, give me your last word on everything.
Okay, I forgot to
Cinematic
tell
Pride
you
and everything that
fast.
goes on.
I forgot to tell you. This year, the International Coastal Cleanup is having a bit of a change. The Grand Day, I mean.
Okay.
We're not doing it at Mullet Bay this year. We are going to La Belle Creole,
Oh,
Friendside. We have teamed
You
up
have access
with,
to La Belle Creole?
we got permission from the owner, yes.
Okay.
Actually, we are teaming up with SXM Trails, which is
Mhm.
the Friendside hiking group. It's headed by Just Manuel. He does the hiking every Sunday morning.
Right.
So I am very happy to say that Just and his group have decided to do the International Coastal Cleanup this year with us, not once, but 3 times. So on the 16th, it will be on Sunday, the 16th. By the way, that's a change also. In the past, all the kids know it was always a Saturday. This year, we're going for the Sunday, and it will start at 8 o'clock at La Belle Creole Beach. Now, keep in mind, this beach is a secluded beach because the property has been closed since Hurricane Lewis.
Yeah.
So I am inviting everyone to come out, help clean the beach. The beach is pretty bad. I went on 2 site inspections in the last
La Belle
week.
Creole?
Yeah, because it's washed up trash. A
This is
lot of
17
plastic
years
pollution.
anniversary of
Yes,
Hurricane
today
Lewis.
is,
Today,
yes,
yeah.
today is the 7th. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Wow,
right.
17 years.
That's right. And the property is, yeah, it's in pretty bad shape, but the beach is beautiful. Christopher, it's going to be,
I've never been on that beach.
well, that's why you have to come out. Because I was so happy to show my youth volunteers this beach. They had never seen it either. I mean, we're talking about 16, 17-year-olds.
I'm 36. I've never been on that beach.
Well, you have to come. It is a beautiful beach because it's 2 beaches. Yeah, it's 2 beaches.
It's one on one side and one on the other
Yes,
side.
and I'll tell you something. One of our greatest landscape features on St. Martin is located at an outer corner of this beach. It's you have to like hike a little bit. It's called the Trou de David, so Devil's Hole or David's Hole. It's a beautiful cave with 2 arches where the ocean washes up and you could look down.
The water
Yeah,
spreads up.
so you could look down. It's a cave,
Nice.
and so come out, Christopher. Come see it. Help a little bit, pick up some trash for the kids.
Mhm.
We need as many volunteers as we can use. Remember, we'll have a lot of children there, a lot of youth volunteers from the school, so adults can help along with them as well. It's it's good when the kids see adults participating because we are all role models. The kids see us doing it and they will follow us. And that's why I like you. You're a role model for a lot of young people, especially young
Seriously?
men. Young men. Young men need responsible role models in our society.
And I pick them up every day, and they all come.
A lot of them
Yeah.
don't have fathers around. They don't have a male role model at home, a good positive role model. And you're one of the outspoken ones. You stay on track. I have youth volunteers that I mentor for Pride Foundation, and I absolutely love it. That's one of the rewarding things, is that through me, showing them the environment, participating with cleanups, they learn a lot about St. Martin through that way as well. So
Well,
come out again,
those-
La Belle Creole, Sunday the 16th, 8 o'clock in the morning.
That's next week Sunday. Sunday
Yes, it
coming.
is.
All
Not
right.
Sunday coming, but the Sunday
No,
after.
Not this Sunday, but the Sunday
Right.
after. So of course I'll be hitting up Jadira when we are getting close to the date to just give me a shout out so I can mention it here on the program. And like I said, I'm 36 years old. I had a number of family working at La Belle Creole, and I have never been to the beach at La Belle Creole. And it's such a shame because we are talking about a 37 square mile island,
Mhm.
and there are places on this island that I don't even know. I haven't even gone to. I should know every
Mhm.
beach on this island. Yadira, I want to thank you very much for being here. And now that I got you here the first time, I know you're not going to be a stranger because, there is so much that we can talk about. And whenever you're having a good conversation, I
Mhm.
say it all the time, the time seems to fly so fast. So Yadira, thank you very much again.
You're very
for coming
welcome.
on the program.
It was
And
my pleasure as well. I really enjoyed it tonight. Thank
Good.
you.
Thank you very much.
And I hope your viewers enjoyed it as well.
I
So
believe it
thank
did
you,
'cause my phone was
viewers.
going crazy, and you see the views
So we're gonna hear all the feedback soon.
Yeah.
Thank you,
St.
Christopher.
Martin people, of course. St. Martin people, Jadira Veen, environmentalist. That's how I know her. Take care of yourself, St. Martin. God bless each and every one of you. Sorry. Good night.
There was a time when people dare not utter a word. There was a time when people were in the dark and searching for accurate information. Just when all hope is lost and frustration hangs in the balance, SXMTalk emerges and broke the silence. Join host Christopher Emmanuel for live and serious discussions and hard talk.